Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before the year ends, I want to go over my most anticipated releases for 2022. I've tried to limit my list as much as I can to only books that I'm really excited about because I don't want to get to the end of the year and not have read any of these. I don't have a lot of fantasy or new series on this list because it usually takes a lot of convincing or recommendations from many people to get me started on new series or fantasy in general, but I do have a lot of thrillers to share with you today. There are also a lot of sequels I'm anticipating, so I'll just start with those. On February 1st, we have Amari and the Great Game coming out, which is a sequel to Amari and the Night Brothers. Amari and the Night Brothers is one of my favorite middle grades that I read this year, and maybe even the only one. I really enjoyed the cute sibling relationship there was, and the overall world building was fantastic. I actually wasn't aware that this book was going to be a series because, in my opinion, it can be treated kind of like a standalone. Anyway, I won't be reading the synopsis because I don't want any spoilers whatsoever, so let's just go on to the next one. Also on February 1st, we have Finlay Donovan Knocks Him Dead, which is a sequel to Finlay Donovan is Killing It. I read the book earlier this year and I really enjoyed it. It was a fun and kind of easy breezy read, but with some dark subject matter. Once again, I wasn't aware that this was going to be a series. I think it can be a great standalone, but I'm looking forward to where the author takes this. On the 15th, House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas is coming out, which is a sequel to Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. I know I just posted a video criticizing Sarah J Maas and Crescent City, but doesn't mean I'm not going to read every book that she puts out. As much as I complain about Sarah J Maas, I still enjoy and read pretty much everything she writes. I really want to find out what happens next and see if Sarah J Maas has the nerve to do a love interest switch for the 3rd series in a row. On September 27th, we have The Ballad of Never After coming out, which is a sequel to Once Upon a Broken Heart. I just read Once Upon a Broken Heart last week for a collaboration with Nichigoya. I'll leave a link here if you want to check out my full thoughts on the book. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and the book ended on a cliffhanger, and I really need to see what happens next. Last sequel I have is coming out on November 8th, and it's Bloodmarked, which is a sequel to Legendborn. This book was really popular earlier in the year, and for good reason. I really enjoyed it, and the ending was really cool, so I'm not sure where the author's going to take it from here, but I'm interested in finding out. Going into the releases that aren't sequels, on January 4th we have Love at First Spite by Anna E. Collins. This is an author I haven't read before, but I'm really interested in the synopsis. This is a breezy rom-com about an interior designer who teams up with an architect at her firm to get revenge on her ex the only way she knows how, by building a spite house next door. They say living well is the best revenge, but sometimes spreading the misery seems a whole lot more satisfying. That's interior designer Danny Porter's justification for buying the vacant lot next to her ex-fiance's house, the house they were supposed to live in together before he cheated on her with their realtor. Danny plans to build a vacation rental that will mess with his view and his peace of mind, and prove that Danny's not someone to be stepped on. Welcome to Project Spite House. This concept sounds so fun and unique to me. I think part of the reason I'm so interested in this book is because my background is in city planning, and the two main characters are an interior designer and architect, so there is some overlap there. But regardless, I'm really excited for this one. On January 25th, we have Good Rich People by Eliza Jane Blazer. This is the synopsis. The wealthy couple invites self-made success stories to live in their guest house and then conspires to ruin their lives. Demi has always felt like the odds were stacked against her. At the end of her rope, she seizes a risky opportunity to take over another person's life and unwittingly becomes the subject of the upstairs couple's wicked entertainment. But Demi has been struggling all her life and she's not about to go down without a fight. In a twist that neither woman sees coming, the game quickly devolves into chaos and rockets toward an explosive conclusion, because every good rich person knows, in money and life, it's winner takes all, even if you have to leave a few bodies behind. This book sounds really interesting and unlike anything I've read before, so I'm really interested in checking it out. The next book I have on my list is coming out on February 22nd, and it's called The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I think this is the same author who wrote The Guest List, which I haven't read, but I want to get to that first before reading this one. So the synopsis is, Jess needs a fresh start. She's broken alone, and she's just left her job under less than ideal circumstances. Her half-brother Ben didn't sound thrilled when she asked if she could crash with him for a bit, but he didn't say no, and surely everything will look better from Paris. Only when she shows up to find a very nice apartment, could Ben have really afforded this? He's not there. The longer Ben stays missing, the more Jess starts to dig into her brother's situation, and the more questions she has. Again, this is a really interesting concept, but I think I'll read The Guest List first before getting to this one. The next book I have is coming out on March 1st, and it's called The Night Shift by Alex Finlay. It's New Year's Eve 1999. Y2K is expected to end in chaos. Planes falling from the sky, elevators plunging to earth, world markets collapsing, a digital apocalypse. None of that happens, but at a Blockbuster Video in Linden, New Jersey, 4 teenage girls working the night shift are attacked. Only one survives. Police quickly identify a suspect who flees and is never seen again. 15 years later, in the same town, 4 teenage employees working late at an ice cream store are attacked, and again, only one makes it out alive. This is a very interesting concept I haven't seen before, so again, I'm interested in checking this one out too. The next book on my list is coming out on the 15th, and it's called The Book of Cold Cases. This is actually by the same author who wrote The Sundown Motel. I haven't read that personally, but I've heard a lot of good things. I'm not going to go into the synopsis because I don't want any spoilers whatsoever, but I'm looking forward to this one. The last book on my list is also coming out on the 15th, and it's called 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. 9 strangers receive a list with their names on it in the mail. Nothing else, just a list of names on a single sheet of paper. None of the 9 people know or have ever met the others on the list. They dismiss it as junk mail, a fluke, until very bad things begin happening to people on the list. The synopsis sounds really interesting to me. I don't know if it's particularly unique because I think I've heard a synopsis very similar to this, but I'm still really intrigued. One of the reasons I'm interested in this book is because it was written by Peter Swanson, who, if you didn't know, wrote The Kind Worth Killing, which is one of my favorite thrillers of this year and probably ever. I haven't read anything else by him, but I really want to check this out when it comes out. That's all I have for today. I'm sure that there are other 2022 releases that I haven't heard of that are coming out that I would love to read, but this is my list as of now. Regardless, comment down below your most anticipated release of 2022 and I'll be sure to check it out. Bye guys.